The North Indian metropolis of Delhi, the starting point of a fascinating journey through Rajasthan, on board one of the most exciting and remarkable trains in the world, the train of the maharajas, the legendary Palace on Wheels. The city of Delhi is proud of its glorious past. The Red Fort was once the center of power of the Mughals. However, the city's British colonial rulers also made their mark here. The India Gate was built to commemorate those soldiers killed in the First World War. Humayun's tomb is of great historical importance. Indeed, the architecture of the city is as diverse as its history. The Baha'i temple looks like a white lotus blossom, and the mausoleum dedicated to Delhi's founder is one of the city's main landmarks. Close by is the old fortified city of Ghiyas-Dutin Tughlaq, one of the last architectural masterpieces of the Mughals. It's located within the tomb site of Safdar Jang. The great rulers reigned over the north of India for many years and introduced their religion, Islam, with splendid buildings such as the Qutb Minar. In the late afternoon, the passengers board the train and enter the luxurious and nostalgic world of both the maharajas and the former British Empire. The Palace on Wheels slowly departs from Delhi's Cantonement Railway Station. The beginning of a fascinating journey.
And I make it vegetables.
The impressive journey through the night is accompanied by a delicious meal. The famous train's cuisine is exceptionally good. Its fine restaurant cars are the perfect setting for the high standard of food that is served throughout the journey. The first stop is Jaipur, where the passengers are given a right royal reception. This traditional welcoming ceremony makes the illusion that each passenger is a member of the Maharaja's family even more believable, and also highlights the regal atmosphere of the journey. Jaipur is not a typical example of an Indian city. Its rectangular streets and division into 9 well-defined blocks were clearly part of a well-thought-out plan. Indeed, the former capital of the Kachawas was built according to the designs contained within an old book of Indian architecture, the Shilpa Shastra. Following the demise of the Mughals, the power of the Rajput rulers of Jaipur became stronger. In subsequent years, several magnificent buildings such as the city palace evolved. The famous Hawa Mahal, the Palace of the Winds, is one of the most impressive examples of the extravagant lifestyle of the Rajputs, and is one of the most photographed buildings in India. The strange-looking buildings of Jantar Mantar that are situated in the middle of Jaipur are beautiful stone observatories that date back to the time of the Rajputs. These magnificent historical documents are only one part of Jaipur's picturesque allure. Dating back to the 18th century, this former palace of a Rajput minister has been transformed into a luxurious hotel. A first-class hotel that also has a long history. The journey on the Palace on Wheels continues into the twilight hours. A delicious and satisfying meal awaits the hungry passengers. The two beautifully furnished restaurant cars offer a choice of either international cuisine or specialty dishes from Rajasthan. The following morning, the train arrives in Jaisalmer. Here again, our welcome is similar to that of a state reception. The oriental character of this ancient caravan city has been well preserved right up to the present day. The site of the Jaisalmer Fort, situated on an 80-meter high rock plateau, gives the city an ambience of the 1001 Nights. The imaginatively decorated Jain temples that date back to the 12th and 15th centuries reflect the rich cultural heritage of the city's 50,000 inhabitants. But the city's real treasures are its numerous exceptionally well-preserved and beautifully decorated havelis, the residential and business buildings of the city's former wealthy merchants. In 1367, the Gadi Sagar Lake was created to the southeast of the city walls. For many years, it was the city's only reservoir. The city's environs and the Thar Desert are well worth a visit. The Badabag Oasis contains a number of ancient royal cenotaphs dedicated to the former rulers of Jaisalmer. Various camel safaris available in the Desert National Park are a memorable way to enjoy the surroundings. Accompanied by traditional flutes and drums, traditional desert dances evoke the special atmosphere and splendor of this colorful and exotic region. The dances of the Thar Desert are also reminiscent of those in the Orient. The Palace on Wheels travels further south and to yet another former capital city. Jodhpur. With around 700,000 inhabitants, the second largest city in Rajasthan is often referred to as the City of Light. The historic center of the city is dominated by a huge structure, the Meherangarh Fort, that is located on a 120-meter high rock. Built in 1459, the fort dates back to Rajodha, leader of the Rathore, one of the most influential and powerful royal families in Rajasthan. Islamic invaders forced Rajodha to move his residence from Mandore to the Meherangarh Fort. With the fortress as its base, the power of the Rathore family gradually increased, yet they eventually lost their independence to the superior Mughal. The former sovereign of the Rathore family created a great monument beneath the fortress, the splendid Jaswantada tomb. The tomb's magnificent exterior, with its elegant and shiny white marble pavilions, is more like a palace than a tomb. Commoners can also experience royal life at the Umed Bawan Palace, that is today one of the most exclusive hotels in India. With 347 rooms, the palace is one of the greatest privately owned residences in the world. During the unhurried journey, one can sit back and enjoy India's intriguing scenery and the diversity of its people in unashamed comfort. The train arrives at its next destination early the next morning. Until 1955, the Ranthambore National Park formed part of the huge hunting estates of the maharajas of Jaipur. Today, the reserve covers an area of around 400 square kilometers. It is home to several varieties of animal, including a number of indigenous wild cats. Around 40 tigers live within the protected boundaries of the park. Here, the animals feel safe and even hunt during daytime. But Ranthambore is far more than just a refuge for the tiger. The splendor of the scenery also provides a secure habitat for many other fascinating creatures. An ornithologist's paradise, the park contains over 270 species of bird. And the safaris on offer here are in stark contrast to the normal sightseeing tours in the rest of Rajasthan. We return to the railway station in the early morning when this rolling palace of the maharajas, the Palace on Wheels, travels southeast. The landscape slowly unfolds. This leg of the journey features some pretty impressive scenery. In the afternoon, the train reaches Chittorgarh. The station is located several kilometers outside the historic center of this truly outstanding city. It's royal greeting time yet again. This time, the reception is of a military nature, for Chittorgarh epitomizes the heroic fighting character of the Rajputs, the former rulers of Rajasthan. However, despite all their glorification, the battles here were a somewhat gruesome affair. Chittorgarh did not enter the history books due to its military success, even though the Tower of Fame more than hints at this. In fact, the city was successfully invaded on many occasions. In the 15th and 16th centuries, thousands of civilians chose to kill themselves rather than surrender. The 38-meter-high Victory Tower, one of the fortress' most beautiful buildings, is dedicated to one of the city's few military victories. Chittorgarh also features several beautiful sacred buildings, such as the Samideswara Mahadeo Temple. Kalika Mata, a Hindu temple, was originally a sun temple that dates back to the 8th century AD. History, myth and legend are all reflected in the city's many historic buildings. While the Palace of Wheels travels further on through the night, its passengers are treated to a traditional Rajasthani puppet theatre. The next destination is Udaipur, one of the most beautiful and romantic cities in India. The history of Udaipur began with the conquest of Chittorgarh by Mughal Akhbar in 1568. The city palace has frequently been extended since the end of the 16th century and is now the largest palace in Rajasthan. Beneath the city palace is the Jagdish Temple, one of the city's few remaining Hindu sanctuaries and one that attracts both tourists and Hindus alike. The temple's exquisite and highly artistic decoration is quite remarkable. The tombs of the maharajas, the chhatris, are tiny masterpieces of architecture. To the west of Udaipur is the 80-hectare open-air Shilpgram Museum. It provides a fascinating insight into India's traditional architecture and daily life. The picturesque Lake Pichula is famous for its two palace islands. The Lake Palace Hotel, a former summer palace of the rulers of Udaipur, is now one of India's most beautiful hotels. The journey on the luxurious train of the maharajas continues, while a miswal provides further evening entertainment.
Fish Bearman. Fish Bearman. Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Wishbar.
Next, Bharatpur. Even though the city itself is full of charm, its main attraction is situated just outside. A rickshaw makes traveling through the Keoladeo National Park a real pleasure. The 29 square kilometer park is one of the most important bird sanctuaries in the world. Some years ago, the land that is now the national park was far from peaceful. The area was once a popular hunting ground of the maharajas. In order to be able to hunt throughout the year, the Bharatpur monarchy built artificial canals and dams. The resulting collection of water attracted much bird life. According to legend, the trigger-happy rulers once bagged 4,000 birds in a single day. But all this is now in the past. Up until today, 370 species of bird have been counted within the Keoladeo Ghana National Park, including several rare birds from North Asia. One of the most impressive monuments of the famous Mughal Akhbar the Great is situated 40 kilometers south of Agra. Fatehpur Sikri, for many centuries a veritable ghost town. Only 15 years after it was built, Akbar and his entourage abandoned the town. Lack of a reliable source of drinking water and strategic military considerations forced Akbar to move his center of power to the north of the kingdom. Outside the palace is the great Fatehpur Sikri Mosque. Today, pilgrims still visit the tomb of Akbar's holy teacher Salim. The filigree marble building is a masterpiece of architecture. Our next destination is also the most popular tourist city in India, Agra, ancient center of power of the Mughals. The magnificent fortress and palace, the Red Fort, owes its name to the massive 20-meter-high walls of red sandstone that surround the vast grounds. It took many centuries to complete the artistic decoration of the Red Fort. At first glance, Agra is like any other major city in northern India, full of exotic atmosphere and energy. But Agra is the home of the Taj Mahal, one of the most famous buildings in the world. The unique mausoleum is the highlight of any journey to India. As a monument of infinite love, Shah Jahan had this building created for his favorite and beloved wife, Mumtaz Mahal. In addition to the Taj Mahal, there are many historic treasures to be discovered, such as the Etimad-ud-Doula Mausoleum, the final resting place of Chini Ka Rauza. The last night on the Palace of Wheels begins. Passengers once again enjoy the exquisite comfort of one of the train's 52 well-appointed sleeping cabins. Delhi's Cantonement Railway Station is the final destination of this unique and fascinating journey through Rajasthan, one that has retraced the footsteps of the maharajas. With a heavy heart, passengers say farewell to this legendary Palace on Wheels, a true gem of India's railway history.